I'm ready to call. Perfect. Thank you so much. I call this meeting to order. It is Monday, October 20th, 2025, 3:02 p.m. And we not only have a quorum present, we have the entire membership present. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I wanted to start for my board president's remarks with a big thank you to Boris and the staff, as well as to Daniel, Ami, Margie, and Larry for everyone's participation in our open house, which was last Monday, October 13th. I'm just thrilled that more than 220 people visited our office that day, and they heard from board members and staff about how the board and staff are structured, about voter services, about candidate filing, voter registration, mail-in and provisional ballots, outreach, recruitment, and training. They saw the IT warehouse, they saw the operations warehouse, and they saw the new training. They saw the new training and Canvas Center. They saw I loved how people not only saw the different parts of our operation, different parts of the building, but they saw the room set up for Canvas, where we're going to be holding Canvas starting June 1st. They gave people an idea of how that would look, and they got to see our mail sorter and our high-speed scanners in action. We also had a large number of election judges who attended, and they learned about many of the reasons behind why we do the things we do that they've been doing for years. And so that was exciting for them and for us. So I just wanted to say that the staff exceeded my high expectations for this great event, and I just like to thank Boris and the team for a job very well done. I don't have other remarks, but looks like Ami might. So Ami, go ahead.
Right. I wanted to say, in addition to the open house being so successful with the public, I want to congratulate Boris and the staff for the way they finished the Canvas and training facility. They did an excellent job. I think their selection of furniture, carpet, decorative touches, let's say, to the room, I think went very well. I think it looks sturdier, more efficient, and more comfortable than our previous Canvas facilities.
So it is a very impressive fact that not only that, well, obviously acquiring space is always complicated in the government. I've seen it at just about every level of government that I've ever been involved in. And Boris has managed not only to do that, but to lay out the space. I mean, he's going to talk about it, I'm sure, when we get to his report, but to lay it out in a logical way for our purposes. And I just think that that's great. Looking forward to having Canvas there starting in June. But it was great to be able to have the open house there last Monday. Any other board member comments before we continue with the agenda? Okay, any additions or changes to the agenda? Okay, are there any disclosures of campaign contributions or attendance at fundraisers from any board members? Okay, I see none. So we will now go to public comments. We do have at least one public commenter that I know has signed up in advance. And that would be Mr. Seth Miller. He made a request because of very unique circumstances to submit a pre-recorded comment for us, which I agree to, given his very unique circumstances. I do not plan to make it a habit, and I don't know that we've ever done it before. Kevin could not recall our ever having done it before. But I think you'll see why he made the request. But in any event, um, we did agree to let him do this, and so without further ado, I will ask, I guess, Jerry to go ahead and play it for us.
Mr. President, members of the board, first, thank you for your service. Thank you for permitting me to testify in this manner pursuant to the ADA and other applicable law. My name is Seth Miller. The day after Christmas of 2018, I went from my life as a paralegal to my life as a patient after a horrific automobile accident. My recovery is ongoing, and I'm recovering from one of many surgeries in Baltimore. I was gathering signatures on a voter ballot initiative for the 2T organization, which does not necessarily support or agree with my testimony. I was beyond a no electioneering sign, and an off-duty police officer for the Bennett Jewish Community Center told me that I was not welcome to do that there. I did not realize it was beyond the sign. The sign was not at eye level, it was not conspicuous, and the sign was obscured by foliage. I told the officer that I would get back beyond the sign and gather signatures in the parking lot. My understanding is that people are told to get back beyond signs all the time, and it's usually not a problem, particularly in Montgomery County. I was told by Phil Liebson, the Chief Operations Officer of the Bennett Jewish Community Center, that that was their private property and they did not want me there. I told them that it was a time, place, or manner restriction absent a compelling government interest, and that I was leaving under fear or apprehension of arrest, and I got that on the officer's body camera video. I was told by the officer that that I could gather signatures in the street, and if they reconsidered, he would allow me back. I did not believe that to be a workable solution. I thought a decision had already been made. I complained to the Internal Affairs Division of the Montgomery County Police, who forwarded it to the Administrative Charging Committee. The Administrative Charging Committee misquoted me that because it was not a polling place, the no electioneering sign did not attach. What kind of nonsense is that? Why would there be a no electioneering sign if it was not a polling place? I am asking, one, that signs be at eye level, visible, conspicuous, and not obscured by foliage. Two, that sites be instructed that in the event that someone is beyond that sign, that it is for the board to handle through the election judges, not for these sites to handle through their private security, especially an off-duty police officer. I actually wrote every legislative office, and I've received some interest in my proposal that in the event of police abuse of voters, election judges, or people or electioneering workers, poll workers on election day, that the Internal Affairs Division and Administrative Charging Committee of another county handle it so as to avoid political interference or appearance thereof. I received interest from many offices, but none have agreed to sponsor as of yet. I asked the board to support this before. I know you told me no. I am respectfully asking that you reconsider your position. Thank you, and thank you for allowing me to testify in this manner. Mr. President, members of the board, first, thank you for your service. Thank you for permitting me to testify in this manner.
Okay, thank you, Jerry, for playing that for us, and thank you to Mr. Miller for his comments. I'd like to add a little context for this for the rest of the board, because Mr. Miller, because of his limited time, may not have given all of the context that I would have given. He has contacted us through Kevin over a period of time, and on March 21st of this year, 7 months ago, Boris, Kevin, and I met with him via Zoom. We also followed up with a letter to him 3 months later, on June 24th of 2025, summarizing our views. And let me just say, we acknowledged in both our meeting and our letter that he was told something incorrect he was at a polling place, he did have a right to collect petition signatures on private property on primary election day, as long as he was outside of the no electioneering zone. This is the only instance that we're aware of this happening anywhere in the county. But gathering petition signatures, when I say this is the only instance, I mean this is the only instance that we know of where somebody was told they couldn't do it. Gathering petition signatures for a proposed ballot question is permissible electioneering at a primary election polling place or early voting center, and that includes in private buildings that serve as one of our voting locations. Electioneering signs should be visible, and the rules should generally be enforced by election officials, and the police should only be involved in the most extreme circumstances. We promised when we met with him, and we also said it in our letter, that we will inform all the private buildings that are used for voting of this fact and what the rules are. And we plan to do that once we have the lease agreements approved and have completed with the private facilities that we will be using as polling places. We will continue to coordinate with the police department about everything to do with elections, and in particular the electioneering rules, but we don't have evidence that this is a systemic problem. And my own view is that anything relating to how the police department addresses concerns about the actions of individual police officers is really not within the Board of Elections jurisdiction. We didn't say in our meeting or our letter that we supported or opposed Mr. Miller's legislative idea about having another county handle complaints about Montgomery County police officers. We said that it's out of our jurisdiction. My personal view would be that the board should defer to others to decide how to handle allegations about off-duty police officers. But as we told Mr. Miller when we met with him 7 months ago, electioneering is a constitutional right. And if he or anyone has any issues on election day or at early voting or at any other time, they should please contact our board attorney or us when it happens, and we'll do our best to fix it that day rather than after the fact. And I will just say that, to my knowledge, we were not aware that this was going on primary election day. So we only learned about it after the fact. Alex.
Mr. President, do you think it's possible that this off-duty police officer was hired as private security for the Bender Jewish Community Center, given what has been happening internationally?
I think that is highly likely, and it doesn't really change, I think, very much what we would do, in the sense that we need every private facility to know what the rules are, because they're not the only one who's going to have security concerns, especially as elections become more and more, of a potential target in and of themselves. And I don't know what the law is about what police officers do when they're off duty, but they're hired by someone in the community. Again, I don't think that's really our area. But I think it's entirely possible. In fact, I think that's exactly the situation, that the police officer was acting as private security at that time. Doesn't change the fact that electioneering is allowed at polling places on election day.
Oh, you're right. I asked because I think it might suggest that he was motivated more by whatever interest the Bender Jewish Community Center might have had to avoid problems or issues, that rather than being some kind of policy of the police department to go around and prevent this.
Oh, totally agree. We have no indication. Like I said, when I said we had no indication it was a systemic problem, our experience is that the Montgomery County Police are very attuned to First Amendment concerns in every context, and in particular with our elections. We have a very good working relationship with them. We have not heard of this happening anywhere else. So I personally would need to be convinced that it is a systemic issue in the police department. That being said, there's no harm in our reminding everybody involved of what the rules are, so that we don't have this happen, on primary election day in 2026. We will make a point of letting people know, what the rules haven't changed. I mean, the rule, as the rules has pretty much been the same all along. But you know, but I agree with you. I do not believe that that this is a policy of any kind. I believe it was one misinformed person.
I had a related question. It seems that he's talked several times about wanting to have the no electioneering zone marking signs at eye level. That would sort of, I don't know if you talked about that with him. I didn't see an indication that we agreed to do that, but it would probably
We have not.
require a redesign of the signs, you know. So
I will defer to Boris and Mindy for what that would require, but I would say it would require more than redesigning the signs. It would require a change in the way that the no electioneering signs have operated, probably for my lifetime, maybe longer than my lifetime. I mean, it would be a significant change, and I'm sure a significant expense. But Boris has his hand up, so Boris, why don't you go ahead?
Okay, thank you, David. Just very briefly, we have signs that we use at the polling places. Changing those signs so they will be at the eye level will bring multiple types of operational issues. Number one, where exactly would we place them? Would we use sticks that we cannot apply to concrete around these facilities? If we're going to be placing them on the walls, would the walls generate the zone that would board need? If we take any other option that we currently use, we have to look at the transport issues and the assignments at the polling places. And before any further discussion on this might take place, I believe that we should also consult whether putting non-exchanging signs at the eyesight level would be ADA compliant.
Exactly.
So I think that we are good where we are. We fully understand what Mr. Miller was talking about, non-exchanging signs that they should not be placed behind the foliage, and that's never instruction by the staff. So we will re-emphasize that message at the chief judge's briefings for sure.
And I would just add that my eye level and you know, the eye level of others might not be the same. I do think I don't think we have a problem with people in general seeing our signs. I do think that if it's obscured, we have to do something about that. That's a, you know, that's a different problem. But I haven't yet seen the evidence that that we need to make wholesale changes along along those lines. When I have noticed electioneering violations, it has not usually been because people didn't know where the signs were. But that's my own experience anyway. Anybody else on this point on anything to do with Mr. Miller's statement to us or our conversations with him? Okay, Boris, do we have any other public commenters?
Mr. Miller was the only one who signed up for today.
Okay, is there anybody who is here as an observer today who would like to comment? If you do, I need you to raise your electronic hand so that I can ask that you be given the floor. Roy Eisenberg. Jerry, if you could promote Mr. Eisenberg to the panel so he could speak to us.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. You're welcome to turn on your camera so that we can see you now as well.
I can't, I don't have a way to turn on the camera here. just the audio is, I can mute it and not, but I don't have any video.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Go ahead, Mr. Eisenberg.
I'll be very brief.
You have up to 3 minutes.
I just wanted to say that I attended the open house that was held at the Board of Elections. It was terrific, and I wanted to let the board know that I hope that continues. It was eye-opening, very informative. The staff presented very well, made clear the process, the voting process, and how it works, what the staff do. Very, very informative. And I just wanted to say thank you and encourage that you continue those. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Eisenberg. Before you leave, if you could tell us which part of the county you're from, and if you if you had any particular previous connection with the Board of Elections, or did you just hear about the open house and decide to come, or what?
I live in Aspen Hill, and I have been a voting judge for the last 3 or 4 elections.
Okay, that's great.
And most of the people who attended that day in the group had been poll judges.
Yes, we did have a lot of election judges who attended, and I thought it was great how a lot of election judges felt like they got some questions answered as to why we do certain things by what they learned when they visited with us. I was very pleased about that. Well, I really appreciate your letting us know about not only letting us know about how you felt about the open house, but you're showing up at our meeting today. So thank you for that. Are there any questions or comments for Ms. First of all, do you pronounce it Eisenberg? Did I say it right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Eisenberg? Okay, well, thank you very much. We appreciate your participation, and thank you for being an election judge. I hope you're going to apply to come back.
I am.
Excellent. Okay, so next we will move on to the election director's report. Boris.
Thank you. I'll be very brief as for the previous board meetings, what the standard practice is. This report is available on our website. It was posted on Thursday, together with the rest of the board materials. Agenda for the board meeting was published last Monday. And on October 6th, I did send out a notification as required by the election law to elected officials and all interested citizens who signed up to be notified whenever the board is changing polling places. Today, there's only one polling place change, but there's a discussion about non-electioneering zones, so we send a notification out, I believe, to 285 email addresses altogether, something like that. When it comes to the voter registration statistics, our numbers stay steady. We are slightly over 704,000, and the report includes also party distribution for the month of September. When it comes to the state board, I just wanted to emphasize that state board launched a contest for the high school seniors to register to vote, to become registered voters in state of Maryland. The goal is to have over 90% seniors who are eligible to be registered by the end of the school year. The State Board of Elections designed an award that they would like to hand out in May to those high schools that have voter registration record. They have designed a special portal which will enable schools to confirm when they reach that target and participate in the contest. When it comes to personnel, we have posted the advertisement for voter education training specialist position. So we expect onboarding and everything to be completed sometime in early the December. We have selected the candidate for office service coordinator, mail-in voting, and candidate filing position. Our colleague Kristen Slago joined us today. She used to work with the board as a temporary employee for last few election cycles, if my memory serves me.
Could you spell her name, please?
Lisa.
Slagle.
SLAGLE.
Slagle. And her first name is Kristen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank
So,
you.
when it comes to temporary positions, we have 2 temporary employees on site at this particular moment who are assisting with the 2 distinctive tasks. One of them is required assessments for the polling places for 2026 cycle, and another one is preparing training documents for all the training sessions that will happen in next year. When it comes to budget, we shared the separate document with the board. It's available on our website. It was some questions were raised and brought to my attention that maybe I should elaborate something and indicate going forward. When we pulled the budget report, that the numbers that are presented in that report reflect the snapshot at that particular moment. The report numbers and data is pulled from the county-wide system that's used by all the agencies. So you might see from month to month fluctuation, which is very distinctive, for example, in full-time salaries for the employees. And literally the issue here is when the pay period ends, when the payroll transfer the data and finance department updates the system and Lisa pulls the numbers. So that is one thing. The second thing is we've been trying, and our goal is, obviously it will take some time, to identify tasks that are repetitive on an annual basis for which the budget lines do not exist at this particular moment. The goal is to identify the cost to cover those tasks going forward and try to work with our colleagues at the Office of Management and Budget and create a separate lines so the board and the staff and the public would actually be able to better track expenditures on some items. One of those tasks, for example, is at the very end, second from the very end line, it's called community initiatives. The board will see that there is zero funding for that line, but these are the costs these are expenses that we cover for having our outreach events in schools and in the communities. So we are trying to get better picture what's the total cost in an average year, hoping that at some point down the road, maybe next budget or budget after, we'll have a separate line that will indicate the expenses for this particular purpose. So that's on the budget, and maybe going forward, I should include a footnote that will very in short terms elaborate what I just said. So anyone who is at any point goes to the budget would understand the fluctuation between the numbers, that they are just the snapshot at that particular moment. When it comes to section activities, you will see that across the board, across the sections, this is a standard non-election year. We are doing things that are legally required. When it comes to voter registration team, it's list maintenance and the processing data records that come in. When it comes to the vote by mail and voter registration as well, both of those teams are attending outreach events, supporting our outreach efforts throughout the county. And of course, candidate filing is going on. We produced this list of the candidates who filed. I think we pulled it on Wednesday morning. It was changed in Wednesday afternoon. And before I sent it, it was changed again. So for the up-to-date records of all candidate filings, we included the list to the state website, link to the state website, which will give you up-to-date files that did happen. Sorry. Voting system information technology section. Again, we are doing legally required and technologically required activities like testing of the batteries and recharging of the batteries to the various parts of the voting system that are used. And of course, we are getting close to wrapping up our work on the election resource management system, with the testing ongoing and with the integration testing that is ongoing now, hoping to work on the conversion of data by the end of the month. Elections operations section, as Mindy would always say, it's shredding, opening the space for the upcoming elections. You board will remember that we were sitting on a lot of materials that should have been shredded long time ago due to the court cases. So that's the key backlog that we are trying to take care of, to open space for the incoming materials and that will be used in 2026 cycle. When it comes to the outreach, recruitment, and training, outreach will be discussed separately later on with Dr. Zelaya. Recruitment section is, as I said, everyone else, process the applications and attend outreach events, because we were really busy in the last month and this period of the year in general. As I said in the very opening, when we were talking about personnel positions, we have that position of voter education training specialist open. That work is currently covered by manager and one temporary employee, but we hope that we will be staffed at some point later this year for that position as well. And the last thing is something that was brought very kindly by a board president and one of the public comments. It's a open house that was held on October 13th. Just for the record, that 223 people attended open house in the time space from 1 p.m. to, we planned to finish around 5:30, but it took us a bit over 6 o'clock. We managed to structure it in a way that everyone who came had a chance to see every part of our building and every part of our operations that are open to public. And we also did demo of the sorting machine and high-speed scanners. There were many questions that were asked in the run-up to every tour that were covered by the board members and myself, plus all the questions that were asked the team who was delivering the presentations. And I need to say something about the training and canvas space that we got. I would be very glad to take credit for any decoration, but my knowledge of colors and which colors go together is non-existent. So that's the one thing, and I believe that everyone will understand that Lisa had a big role to play in selection of all the materials that were there. Canvas was set up. It was Sandy and Michelle who designed the space, and Sandy, Michelle, and Mindy who designed the space that would enable us to have successful canvas going forward. And of course, Janet and Jerry were the guys who are in charge of anything that's IT related and connection of that building, from Wi-Fi to all other connections that are required from our work. So I think that I appreciate that everyone loves the space, that they recognize the value of the space it's set up. I cannot take credit for that part, so these are the people who did it. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that, Boris, and thank you to all the people you mentioned for their contributions to that. I had just a couple of things. You mentioned about the budget being not only a snapshot of a particular month, but really it's like it's a snapshot of a particular moment in terms of when money gets drawn down, et cetera. I want the record to be clear that it's not that our board attorney had nothing to do last month, and it may be that we didn't write him a check last month, in which case we apologize, Kevin. We'll get to that, but I can assure everybody that he's been fully employed to his normal level. I mean, not fully employed in the sense that he does have other clients, but I wouldn't want anyone to think that we spend zero on legal fees. Um, concerning, and maybe I'll save this for when we have the outreach discussion when Dr. Zelaya can join us, but I'm going to be interested in talking about how we will coordinate between our efforts in the schools and the state's contest, which, as you noted, it seems to be focused on high school seniors, whereas our efforts in schools are much broader than high school seniors. And I'd be interested to hear, how, because I would think that we would want to encourage Montgomery County schools to participate in the contest. But again, what the state is focusing on and what we're focusing on may be a little bit different. And I think that was most of it. The rest can wait. Boris, if you wanted to say something now, please go ahead.
Yeah, just very briefly. I believe that later on Gilberto will paint a picture of our activities in the schools and the volume of activities that we do, not only once but twice in a school year, because we are frequent guests there. When it comes to the
and for multiple days.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a chance to experience it last week that I'm going to talk about when we get to that on the agenda.
Yeah, so when it comes to the state project of competition of the high school seniors and the high schools to win that award, I did talk to the state. State will be preparing some kind of further steps that will be undertaken on their side, and we will coordinate once all those things are cleared with our activities. I would fully agree that our activities can only amplify what the state project is, and I would hope that registration numbers in Montgomery County when it comes to the high school seniors are above the average when it comes for the whole state. I think state administrator mentioned in one of the last state board meetings, about 1/3. I think that we are above that, especially knowing the number of future vote and the high school election judges that we have every cycle that serve with us. So I think Alberto will talk about our work with schools and our future activities, our coordination with the state. It will be evolving as the more details are coming out. We still have time till May, and I hope that Montgomery County schools will participate.
Excellent, thank you. Any other questions or comments about Boris's report? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to the board attorney's report. Kevin.
Thank you, David. So every month the board receives, Public Information Act requests that are generally sort of routine and not of any particular interest to the board. But I did want to raise one issue, which is, you may recall last year there was discussion regarding the Maryland statute that requires parity for election judges that grew out of Talbot County. Every local board received a Maryland Public Information Act request for a breakdown of election judges in terms of party affiliation and party positions, election judge positions. And we did provide a breakdown of the precinct, party affiliation, and position for our election judges for the last election cycle. So that's an MPIA request that probably is of some interest to the board. And if anyone wants additional information, Boris took the lead in terms of providing the response to the requestor. So that's one issue. The other issue is, you have a question?
Can I ask a question about that before you go on, Kevin?
Sure.
Do we know what was the time, the moment in time that the public information request wanted that data for? I mean, was it for the 2024 general, or so basically it's likely to be the same information that was in Boris's presentation last February? Because you gave us the breakdown of judges back then.
Right. Boris, is it different?
So this request, David, you're correct, was for 2024 general. The presentation that we had was a total. This request was on the precinct level, for the precinct level.
Oh, on the precinct level.
Right.
So you had to, so we provided data for the breakdown for every single precinct in Montgomery County.
Every single precinct and
Right.
early voting site.
Okay. Okay, good to know. Thank you.
So that's one thing. The other thing is, Boris and the staff reached out to Fitzgerald Automotive for their assistance to improve our signage. And Fitzgerald has agreed to allow us to put some signage at the top of the hill where you go up past the Salvation Army and then you see the Fitzgerald location there. And there'll be a sign there that points towards the Board of Elections as well as the canvas, the new canvas area. The only thing their general counsel wanted was basically a simple MOU that we're in the process of preparing, and we'll get that done in the near future. And then we can go ahead and get the signage in place for the 2026 election cycle.
Could I ask a question about that?
Sure.
Is it possible to get a sign at 355 that tells people to turn right, where the right turn is? Because I know that there's a sign before that that says second right, but since it's not a street, or at least it doesn't look like a street, I was just wondering if you know, and I assume that since Fitzgerald has a sign there, that they may be the ones we have to talk with. But I would be interested in finding out if that's a possibility. Boris, you have an answer?
Yes. So we did not plan just to put one sign at the top of the hill next to Fitzgerald. We contracted the person who does the signage for the county agencies across the county. There will be a overall redo of signage for the Board of Elections that will include new signage on 355 if you approach from the south, right before the turn, as David was just mentioning now. There will be a sign on 355 coming from the north. We are talking about game preserve. We are talking about signage on the back of the building, stairs on the both sides of the back of the building, front of the building, sign above the training and canvas center, removal of the banners that are outdated, signs on the doors, both front and back, with the directional instructions, depending what you are looking for. So this Kevin's effort is the legal effort because it's a private property of Fitzgerald. That was my understanding, and that was an issue that staff gladly handed to Kevin, and the
Yes.
rest, yeah, we will be dealing with the contractor who will implement the rest of the signage. So we are gearing to be ready before the next election with everything.
That's great. Thank you both. I know the negotiation is in good hands with Kevin, but I know it takes a village to do the whole thing. So appreciate it.
Well, Fitzgerald was very easy to work with on the issues. So we appreciate their willingness to contribute. So
that's awesome. And we thank you to them for being so public spirited. That's great. And obviously, if we're going to have canvas on our site in addition to everything else we do, we may have more visitors than we're used to, and additional signage I think will be very helpful.
Okay, and that's all I have, unless anyone has any questions.
Any questions for Kevin? Okay, thank you very much, Kevin. Next is the website update. Boris.
Yeah, it's very, very brief. We are still in the low season. Slightly went up 2,000 compared to the previous month. Some might say it went up like significant percentage points, but knowing that we were hitting few 100,000 visits around the election season, I would still argue that this is a slower season for the board. We all expect as school year started and activities and voters' interest in the political developments and upcoming elections spikes up, that visits to our website will increase as well. When it comes to the most visited pages, that's also very, very, very steady from one month to another.
Boris, I would say that if you're familiar with the concept of shoulder season, I think that we're entering the shoulder season where we're going to transition to higher numbers. But I do I agree that we are moving slowly in that direction. Kina.
Thank you, Mr. President. Boris, out of curiosity, do we have any information that would suggest that there are spikes around the time that candidate filings become public or candidates share publicly that they have filed?
You mean the time difference between them submitting the paperwork to us and published on the state website?
Somewhat. Essentially, with public notice, a la the candidate's website or their social media accounts that they have now officially filed. I'm wondering if there has also been a spike in the website visits for elections.
So when it comes to candidate filing data that tracks anyone who filed, withdrew, or did whatever they decide to do in the run-up to the next election, that's a state board. It's not our website. So we don't have a data because it doesn't land on our page. It lands on the state board page. And the state maintains the record of statewide races and the individual counties.
And so that would mean that public, well, Montgomery County residents going to our page, we wouldn't experience spikes there when people have filed, correct? So let's say the candidate they were interested in filed.
It will be state. If someone is visiting, if let's say 1,000 people go to check if, I don't know, Boris Brakovic filed for something, it will register as a visit to the state board website, not ours.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Boris, that question raises another one for me, which is that at the top of our website, we have a candidate filing is the first thing at the top of our website. And it tells people to contact us for, for the forms and it gives them the date and all that. But I was wondering if we could add something at the end of that paragraph that says, for a list of filed candidates, click here and send them to the state. Or is there already something on our website that does that? Because I think looking for filed candidates is a pretty common thing that people want to do.
Give me a second. Let me take a look at this. Let me take a look at this after the board meeting so we can see how we can do it.
Okay, I think I think that Kina has raised an interesting point. I'm not suggesting that we have to capture it in our data. I'm just saying that I do think that there may be people who will come to our website trying to find candidate filings. And if we can help them to find them, like by pointing them to the Montgomery County page of the state or something along those lines, I think that might be helpful.
Okay, let me take a look at this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else on the website from anybody? Okay, then let's go to outreach and Dr. Zelaya. If he's in the room with you guys.
He's online. Just give me a
second. He's online. Oh, there he is. Okay.
I'm here. Hello.
Okay. Hello, Gilberto. Please proceed.
Yeah. So we've been extremely busy the months of September and October. Number one, thank you also, David, for helping us out. You are the Three Musketeers at Northwood, so I appreciate your help that day. As you noticed firsthand, yeah, you enjoyed it. I know you did. It was really good. I think it was a nice addition to the team, and I think it gives you a kind of an insight of kind of the difference between a traditional outreach event that we've done also in the past, for example, in Wheaton Regional Park compared to a high school. It's a blitz. And students have a lot of interest in serving in their communities and also registering to vote. And so you have their attention for between anywhere from 43 to 52 minutes. But it's a exciting opportunity to ensure that our younger cohort have access to the franchise by registering to vote and or serving as an election worker before heading either to college, the workforce, the military, and so on. But once again, September, October, busy. Also want to extend gratitude to the different divisions at the Board of Elections between voter services, IT, operations for helping and extending a helping hand to assist and covering all of the requests we have had in the last 2 months. As we near November, as we get close to the holidays, it will taper down. And then once again, we will ramp up once we turn the curve after New Year's as we lead to the June 23rd primary gubernatorial elections. So fruitful endeavors. We welcome the community to once again extend an opportunity for us to engage participants at a fair, whether it's 5 people or 5,000. We would love to have a presence there. And it is teamwork overall. So it's just been an exciting entry into fall. And once again, thank you for everyone who hands on deck and who have helped out.
Thank you, Dr. Z. I want to give my kudos to Greg Humes and Dr. Zelaya for their outreach work, and it was great to be able to see it up close and personal. In particular, I don't know if Dr. Zelaya has any post-retirement plans in the sales department, but be very cautious of anything he's selling because he's a very good salesman. He basically was getting students to sign up to be election workers, and then, oh, by the way, you have to be a registered voter to be an election worker, which of course got us both registered voters and election workers. So I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I was there merely to add some moral support and to try to let the students know that this is like a time-honored tradition, pretty much. But anyway, it was very impressive. Greg was there 2 days because Greg was there while we had our open house while Roberto was with us. And then you know that second day is when we were all there, and then you guys are going back in the spring. Is that when you go back?
I believe it's in February. So we'll come back after winter break. Since training starts in March, that's the target. So we're going to visit all the schools once again from the months of early February through April. In addition, and we will ramp up also our visits to the public libraries, rec centers, and all the different events that will start bubbling up over the springtime.
Okay, so that was part of what I wanted to make sure was clear because I knew about the one example because you were telling people at Northwood we'll be back, but
Yeah.
in reality we're back everywhere. There's nothing unique about my alma mater. We are there multiple times, and I think that's great. Because there'll be enough time for the people who missed out to be anticipating our return. I don't know if you had a chance to hear the earlier parts of the meeting, but one of the things that I'm hoping that you guys can do is to figure out a plan for how our very robust efforts that include really students from 6th grade on can intermingle with the state's rather not as broad effort, but their contest that relates to high school seniors. Because on the one hand, I know I'm not advocating that we change anything that we do. But on the other hand, our schools should be at least competitive when it comes to this contest for for the percentage of eligible seniors who are registered to vote. And I realize that some of them will register at MVA, some of them will register out in the community, some of them will register when you go into the schools. I mean, there's a whole variety of things, but I'm hoping that we can figure out a way to I don't know whether it's contacting the senior class officials of each school or whatever it is. I'm hoping that we can help Montgomery County schools to compete if they would like to. And Montgomery County schools are going to have an additional issue that not every school system in Maryland does, and that is that it's based on the percentage of eligible students, and we may have some non-citizen students, which will lower the number of eligibles because they're not eligible. So anyway, I'm hoping that I know it's early, but I'm hoping that that's the kind of thing that you can work on a plan for how we can coordinate those things. So that our schools can at least be competitive in that in that competition.
Okay, noted. Definitely, I will do.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.
Anyone else who'd like to talk about outreach? Boy, we have a quiet bunch today. All right. Well, it's great to see you, and thank you for everything you're doing. And we will move on in our agenda. And please keep doing what you're doing. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Take care.
Okay. Is there any old business? Actually, I think that the first item listed under new business is kind of old business in a way, but it doesn't really matter where it's listed. So we will get to that next. But okay, we'll go to to item A under new business, which is the consideration and possible action regarding the change of a polling place for location precinct 1313 back to Highland View Elementary School. And for those of you who remember the previous meetings and your precinct numbers, this is a precinct that we voted previously to move from Highland View Elementary School to another location because of planned construction, which apparently the schedule has changed for. And so I will turn it over to Boris or Mindy or whoever's going to be handling this.
I think, David, that you covered everything that we needed to say about this change. So initial change was proposed by the staff, approved by the board in June, based on information that we received at that time from MCPS about planned construction that was scheduled for Highland View School. We received updated information from MCPS that is postponing that construction, and it such will not interfere with the 2026 election cycle, which gives us an opportunity to propose to the board to return this polling place to Highland View Elementary School, basically deconsolidating the previous proposal and giving voters option to vote at their own standard polling place as in previous years. As I said, if there was no planned construction information initially, Highland View would not have been proposed for changes, but it was based on information that we had from MCPS at that particular time.
Okay, any questions or comments? And seeing none, would someone like to make a motion? Alex, you're muted, but go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Mr. President, I would move that the board reverse its prior vote on June 16th, 2025 that changed the polling place for precinct 1313 away from Highland View Elementary School and thereby returning it back to its original location at Highland View Elementary School for the 2026 election cycle.
Okay, is there a second?
Mr. President, I'll second.
Okay, moved by Alex and seconded by Ami. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. And it is unanimous. Actually, Daniel, I don't see your hand because you are not on camera. So I need you to either show us your hand or Margie will show us hers. Okay, I guess Daniel must have stepped away. So, okay, so Margie will vote aye, and it is unanimous. Okay, item B, which is the no electioneering zones. Boris, go ahead.
Thank you. I will leave this presentation for Mindy Williams, who is our manager of election operations, to do presentation of like early voting first and then election day polling places. Just a caveat here, when it comes to early voting sites, we have presentation for all 14 of them that were approved by the board. When it comes to the polling places, we will, our presentation includes only changes to non-election zones at the polling places that will have some changes. All others that will remain the same are available on our website under the board meetings for October 20th, and once approved, will be published on the website, updated on the website. Mindy, please.
Before we go to Mindy's presentation, I'm thinking that item C might be one of our easier things to dispose of.
Okay.
Which is the moving of the drop box from one location at Tacoma Park Community Center to another location at Tacoma Park Community Center. So why don't we do that one first, and then we'll come back to the electioneering zones, which is a little more involved.
So, in previous elections, our drop box was placed at the very entrance to the community center, which will be subject of construction work in 2026 cycle. That the proposal is literally to move the drop box to the other side of the building, at the very entrance to the library that leads inside of the building as well. The only issue here is that the board already approved the previous location of the drop box at the Tacoma Park Community Center, and the new location is a new address. It's 101 Philadelphia Avenue. But again, it's the same building, just different entrance on the other side of the building.
Is it a
And my
different?
understanding is the Tacoma Park municipal drop box will be placed in the same location too.
Is the address different, or is the address the same?
The address is different. It's 101 Philadelphia.
Okay, so it's the same building, but at a different
Side.
From a different
Street.
direction. Okay. Okay. Is there a motion? Ami.
I will move that the Dropbox location be adjusted as Boris just requested.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved by Ami, seconded by Kina. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor, please raise your hand. And okay, Daniel is voting this time. It is unanimous. Okay, excellent. Thank you all. All right, let's go back to the no electioneering zones, and I'll call on Mindy for her presentation.
Still muted, I'm sorry. So we'll go through early voting, no electioneering zones first, and then we'll go directly into then we'll go into the proposed election day changes. So we kept in the presentation, and I'm not going to read through all of it. The election laws pertaining to no electioneering zones. So pages 1 through 3 just kind of cites all the election law pertaining to no electioneering zones. There is one addition to the no electioneering zones. And that would be Comar 33.11.01.04D3, pertaining to ballot drop boxes within no electioneering zones. So some of the changes that we will go through during the early voting no electioneering zones pertain to changes from previous election cycles due to ballot drop box locations at early voting locations. Mid-County Community Recreation Center. The proposal would be to extend the no electioneering zone on the far right side of the photo, roughly 6 feet. It's 6 feet from the ballot drop box. All other signs within would remain the same. So this gives voters that are coming to drop their mail-in ballot into the ballot drop box a little bit of space in order to access the drop box.
Mindy, what you're showing us is the proposed electioneering zone that already has extended it to 6 feet.
That is correct. So we went out and we remeasured everything based off of where the ballot boxes had been historically located and added that additional 6 feet at these locations and, you know, updated the slides based off of those additional feet.
Great, thank you.
So all the photos that you'll see have been updated based off of what the new proposal is. The EOB ballot box is already located within the current no electioneering zone, so no changes here. This would remain the same as it did in 2024. The rear entrance of EOB proposal would be to keep the no electioneering zone as it has been in previous election cycles. Germantown Community Center electioneering zone would remain the same. The ballot box is typically located right next to that the no electioneering sign on the far left side of the screen. Our proposal will be to move the ballot box in closer to the main entrance. It's still within the camera view that we need. So we wouldn't make any changes to the previously approved no electioneering zone. Praisner Community Center would remain the same as it has in previous election cycles. Ballot drop box will actually move a little bit closer towards the no electioneering zones because the current location in that photo is a little close to the ADA push plate located at the front entrance. So it'll slide closer to the no electioneering signs about 3 feet. This is the side entrance, the handicap accessible entrance at Praisner. Electioneering zone would remain the same as in 24. Silver Spring Civic Building would remain the same. The activity center at Borer Park, we have moved the no electioneering zone on the far right, 6 feet from the ballot box. We spent a lot of time during the 24 election cycle putting the drop box in that particular location. That's one of the only locations that has the camera view that we need for the retention. So extending I didn't have an option to move the box at this particular location. Damascus Community Recreation Center, no electioneering zones would remain the same. Ballot box is already within. Jane Lawton, same thing. Ballot box would remain the same as well as the no electioneering zones. Wheaton Library, we would like to move the ballot box to the location shown here. This would change the no electioneering zone on the far left side to be 36 feet from the main entrance as opposed to the original 25. This is the only spot other than the previous location of the ballot box, which was roughly 60 feet, I think, from the main entrance. But this is the only location that I can get the camera angle that I need other than the previous location. So
The previous location was basically on the near side of the rock that's to the far left of this photograph.
right. So the rock that's to the far left of the photograph, to the left of that rock. The Georgia Avenue entrance to Wheaton. Wheaton has quite a few. Our parking garage left side, right side of the parking garage closest to the elevator. And then this is the opposite side of the elevator, from the opposite side of the parking lot leading towards the elevator. Potomac Community Recreation Center, no electioneering zone would remain the same to what it was in 24. In 24, we moved the ballot box from the previous location, which was farther out from the main entrance on the right-hand side of the awning. In 24, we moved it closer to the facility, still underneath of the awning, but it allowed us to stay within the current no electioneering zones without having to alter them. Sandy Spring Volunteer Fire Department would remain the same. Bear with me 1 second. There we go. This is the side of the ballroom at Sandy Spring. So just a different angle leading to the front entrance. Switch. With me 1 moment. There we go. White Oak Community Center. The ballot box is currently within the no electioneering zones. We would keep everything the same at this location. My apologies, my computer has a bit of a lag at the moment. Yeah, it's not working in my favor right now. There. Maybe. And then DASIC Community Recreation Center, we explored a few options. The current location of the ballot drop box, as shown in this photo, is the only location at the facility that I'm able to get the camera views needed. So with the ballot box having to remain in the location that it has been historically, we'd propose to extend the no electioneering zones 6 feet from the back of the ballot drop box, and then add additional no electioneering zones to the right and left of the box. That would still allow campaigns to utilize the other half of what I refer to as the pancake for their campaign signs and things of that nature. All other no electioneering photo signs would remain the same. You can see in this photo the 2 signs closest to the main entrance on the right and left of the main entrance would remain the same as they were in 24. And then finally, the Bauer Drive Community Recreation Center. The no electioneering zone would remain the same. We would move the ballot drop box closer to the main entrance of the facility. 24, during 24, the ballot box was to the left of where the bike rack is currently. There's a bench that is there as well. So it was not just right next to that bike rack, but it was extend that another 6 to 8 feet would be where it was located. So in lieu of changing the no electioneering zone for this location, we'd like to propose to move it closer to the main entrance to keep everything the same. And then that is it for the no electioneering zones for early voting locations.
Why don't we talk about those first before we go to the election day no electioneering zones? And I'm going to start just to make sure I have clear what the rule is and what we've done. So in some cases, we have moved the drop box closer to the building, and by being within the no electioneering zone, we do not have to move the no electioneering zone. We've moved the drop box. And that's what you've done in Wheaton and Bauer Drive. And I'm trying to remember where else you've done that, but there's a few places, many places that the drop box was already in that territory. But at least at Wheaton and Bauer Drive, and I think there may have been others, the drop box has been moved. If it's not within the no electioneering zone, then the drop box has its own no electioneering zone. And that's the situation we have in North Potomac at the DASIC Center. And I believe that might be the only one where we have that situation. So my question for you, I'm quite sure we've had this conversation already, but just for the record and for everybody, is there a way to move that drop box closer to the building? Or, and I know that a lot of people like the convenience of where it is now. But if you could just explain why we chose the option that we did.
Yeah, so I explored different options at DASIC, gave several different locations to recreation, worked with them in terms of different camera views, different camera angles. The current location that you see in the proposed slide is the only location at that facility that gives me the camera view that I need for the document retention. Any of the other proposed locations, it's not within the camera angle.
And when you talk about the camera angle, it's not just being able to see the box, it's being able to see the slot into the box, correct?
That is correct. Yep.
Okay. Okay. That's what I just wanted to clarify. Any discussion about the early, I'm sorry, about the no electioneering zones for the early voting centers? Okay, is there a motion to approve the staff recommendations for those no electioneering zones for early voting? Ami,
I move that we approve the staff recommendations for the early voting sites.
okay, Margie, is that a second? Okay, moved by Ami, seconded by Margie. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. And it is unanimous. Okay. Now we'll go to the election day polling places. Mindy, go ahead.
Bear with me one moment. All right, so our first several slides still include the election law pertaining to no electioneering zones. Again, won't go through these verbatim. It does, though, indicate when campaign signs can be placed. One thing that I didn't note prior to the early voting one, although the campaign sign, the law says until 8 a.m. the day after voting, we do in Montgomery County send the letter to campaigns that ask the campaigns to have signs removed by noon the following day. So what you see in the slides differs a little bit for us here in Montgomery County, as we do give them a little bit of a grace period. All right, so, oops, bear with me. Laytonsville Elementary School. Laytonsville Elementary School, after conducting a site visit, we proposed to, the current no electioneering zone would be slide 1. We're proposing to add an additional entrance to improve ADA accessibility at the location. This side entrance here would be an alternate entrance. I would provide additional signage for handicap accessible. It's directly adjacent to the parking lot where most of your voters are going to park. And it's, again, it increases the ADA access to the polling location. Greencastle Elementary School. Greencastle Elementary School. 502, they had a renovated front entrance, so there's a bit of a somewhat of an addition that was added to the facility in 24. So as we were surveying locations, just noted that the entrance has changed, so wanted to share that with everybody as well. Again, freezing.
Are those signs at 25 feet?
At Greencastle, yes.
Yeah, okay.
All right, Riderwood Village. So Riderwood is a little bit different, has indoor electioneering permitted at this particular facility. We're proposing to add no electioneering signs at the top of the stairs. As well as the elevator is right outside of that current no electioneering zone. However, it opens up on the lower level directly in front of the polling room. So also including that there's no electioneering permitted within the elevator as well. The proposal would be to allow tables in the area shown here, to allow campaigners to electioneer indoors. We were in 24 was a little bit different. 24, the ballot box was located in a different facility. Now the ballot drop box will be moving back to Riderwood, and kind of encroaches on a bit of what we had used as electioneering zones previously. So added this slide just to show where the ballot drop box will be located. It's a little hard to see, but where my cursor is here, oops. Ballot drop box will be located next to that far column, which puts us exactly 25 feet from the ballot drop box to the edge of the tile floor here. So electioneering is not permitted from the tile floor all the way to the front entrance. We would be encroaching on the drop box no electioneering. Also, they are also allowed to electioneer outside. Added this slide as well. The DASIC Community Center, not only does it serve as an early voting location, but it also serves as an election day location. So we would adopt the no electioneering zones that we propose for the early voting locations on election day as well. Same thing. The front door sides would still remain the same. What would change would be what you see in the outer circle around the drop box. Diamond Elementary School renovated main entrance. So they've added a few ramps leading to the entrance and somewhat of a small addition. A lot of MCPS facilities appear to be moving main offices within their facilities. So you get a very small addition, which gives it a little bit of a facelift at the front. So that's what we see here. So there's two access points. So you have to the left is the handicap accessible ramp, and then to the right from another parking lot and bus loop is the second slide here. Watkins Mill Elementary School, same proposal in terms of it's still 25 feet, renovated main entrance. Asbury Hefner Community Center, another active adult community that we do permit indoor electioneering. So we would propose the electioneering signs to be where they are located in this photo. It's approximately 60 feet from those no electioneering signs to the polling room doors. It is a regular hallway leading to from the current no electioneering signs to the polling room. So moving it any closer would make an egress issue. We'd propose to allow tables to be placed in front of the glass railing, the glass railing here in this photo. And then lastly would be Clear Spring Elementary School. This would be one of our new additions going into 26. This was proposed during our polling place change presentation, and we'd like to utilize the side entrance because it's easiest from the handicap parking as well as the where most voters would be coming if they're walking. Oh, lastly, Woodland Elementary School. Woodland Elementary School, we've been at the Imam Center for the past two election cycle. Woodland has concluded their construction and we're returning in 26. So post-construction new facility would be, there's two access points. So this particular picture takes you directly from the parking lot, which is on this side of the, and then this picture here is coming from sort of the bus loop-ish area. And then Mid-County Community Recreation Center, same thing, just proposing to change it as we did in the early voting location. Oh, last one, I promise. Silver Spring International Middle School, we're moving this location from the elementary school within the same building now that construction is concluded here. This would be the proposal for 26. And then that's it.
Okay, are there questions for Mindy about her presentation? Kina.
First, thank you, Mr. President. Kudos to Mindy and team for arranging this so that the election for the 2026 cycle can go well. I did want to bring to the attention of the board some comments that have come up just in regards to the purple line and how it may interfere with some work in the Silver Spring International area. I used to be a member of District 20, so I've had people reach out to me and ask these questions. So I'm bringing it up today to make sure that we also address that on behalf of the public.
Yeah, so I'm monitoring the Purple Line project status updates and everything. So as things kind of evolve and as setbacks come in play, I'm monitoring all of that. The plan is to request crossing guards and, you know, for traffic control and everything in that area. So I've already kind of flagged that as a location that's going to need that. Other than that, you know, there's not much I can do in terms of just to continue to monitor and have crossing guards for traffic control present. Unless you have other suggestions.
I'm happy, Mindy, to reach back out to you and Mr. President to share any details that might have come from community members regarding this issue. I mean, the reality is, as you shared, there's a lot of things that are outside of our control regarding Purple Line and has been for a number of years. But it is a genuine concern, and I wanted to make sure that it was something that was brought up today.
Is the concern safety, or is the concern, I mean, are people asking for a different polling location, or are they just saying that it's going to be complicated?
They are seeing some complications, which, as Mindy shared, some of that is inevitable with construction. And other parts might be mitigated, but the reality is, as those concerns come up and as they become more crystallized, I'm happy to share that with the board as well.
Sure. I mean, obviously, if we're talking about making adjustments to make things safer, easier, anything that we can do with the facilities we have, that's an ongoing process and an ongoing conversation. If we're talking about where the polling place is located and where the no electioneering zones are, you know, and or that kind of thing, we really do have to make decisions. So because we have a deadline coming up, so that I just wanted to make sure it was clear. It sounds like it's more the former than the latter. That we just want to make it as convenient as we can make it.
Exactly.
Okay, that's excellent. Thank you. I also wanted to mention that Ami and I met Mindy and Boris at Riderwood last week in order to mean, Mindy did a good job of telling you the final result of that discussion, but there was a fair amount of discussion. Riderwood is complicated in a number of different ways. One of which is that some people will come from outside the building, and some people can reach the building from their own building while walking completely indoors, and therefore never walk in the front door. And that's why we've had an electioneering zone within the building made more complicated by the Dropbox and its no electioneering zone, and not wanting to block the passage for any of the residents of Riderwood, because the dining rooms are right next to where the electioneering zone is. And there's the fact that there may be more electioneers than there are seats at those tables, and how that will be handled. So our vote today is merely on what the electioneering zone should be, but I think there's a good possibility that we will be coming back to the board and having whatever the rules are for how the people will claim their spots in Riderwood, because unlike the outdoor electioneering zones, it might not be feasible to simply just show up in squatters' rights and et cetera. We don't know yet whether signs will be allowed inside the building, for example. It could very well be that there will be only signs outside the building. But what I have wanted is, I don't want individual campaigns to be negotiating with Riderwood management. I want us to talk to Riderwood management and campaigns to talk to us. And then we will make sure that the rules apply the same to everyone. And we'll kind of work those out as we get closer. So anyway, I just wanted everybody to be aware of that. We are planning a visit to Asbury as well. But if you saw on the slide where it said further details to be provided later, that's kind of the details we're talking about. We have to balance not blocking people from getting where they need to go with allowing electioneers to have a reasonable opportunity to electioneer, with not wanting to have disputes among electioneers to disrupt voting. And so Kina, you and Daniel, as the board members who are closest geographically to Riderwood, we may ask you to spend some time there to make sure that everything is copacetic when the time comes. And you have a comment, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. You have read my mind. As a former kid who
Yeah.
ran around Riderwood back in the day, due to my mother working there, I'm more than happy to come back and support those residents who have instilled with me a lot of wisdom and a lot of humor about life. So I'm ready to go back there and support them once again.
Okay, well, supporting those residents may involve delicate conversations among competing electioneers for who sits, who stands, where they go, who, if they leave for an hour, what happens. We'll figure all that out. And again, I want the board to the extent that it's not just governable by whatever the state law says you can put up signs 5 o'clock the day before, but the state law is not talking about putting up signs inside a building. So anyway, we'll figure that stuff out. But and I appreciate your willingness to go back there, because I do expect that there'll be questions. But my goal for this is to try to make the rules as clear as possible in advance, share them with whoever is affected. And so they may not like whatever we come up with, but at least it'll be the same for everyone, and everyone will have the knowledge, rather than they show up that day. And I just think that if we don't have something figured out in advance, that we could have unnecessary conflict on election day, which I know we all want to avoid.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So, and Kevin, we will definitely be in consultation with you as we do that. Okay, any other questions, concerns, etc., about the no electioneering zones for election day polling places? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the staff's recommendations on those election day polling places? Moved by Ami. Is there a second? Seconded by Kina. So it's been moved by Ami, seconded by Kina, that we approve the staff's recommendations for no electioneering zones for election day polling places. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, Margie voting for Daniel. It is unanimous. All right. I believe, well, is there any other new business? Okay. So now it's time to list our future actions. And I'm aware of two that I asked for. One was a link to candidate filing. And that's not, I think you said you were going to look into it, not necessarily that you were going to do it, but I just let us know.
Yeah, we have to figure out how it can be done.
Understood. And then the other was, I requested that there be a plan put together about coordinating our youth outreach with the state contest. Were there any other future action items from today's meeting that anyone can recall? Okay. Boris, did you have anything else that you recall?
No, I'm good. That's all.
Okay, so now we have approval of two sets of minutes. We have the August 4th meeting and the September 8th meeting. Are there any further comments on either? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve both as amended. Boris.
Yeah, just very briefly, the board would recall that our IT manager is working with the county to on a website update to make it ADA compliant per federal regulation. And there was one correction that needed to be introduced in the minutes. Going forward, we cannot say click here to follow the link. We have to say follow this link. It has to do with
So it has to do with not necessarily being able to see where here is.
it has to do, yeah,
Yeah.
correct. It has to do with the tools that are being used by visually impaired individuals who read the text. And open
Okay.
it.
Can I add?
Yeah.
So just, David, just to clarify,
Yeah.
everywhere in the minutes where it says here and there's an active link, I've deleted that and changed the hyperlink to say at this link. And that would be for the August and September minutes.
Perfect. And then you also can for the I think you have, if you have the most recent version of the September minutes, Ami had a question that I answered, and you can take that
Yes.
comment out.
Yes,
So
I did that.
So excellent. Thank you.
Okay.
Gosh, she's gonna make me sign them today. You know, it's I mean, she's just way ahead. But we haven't even voted yet. So anyway, so is there a motion to approve the August 4th and September 8th minutes as amended? Okay, moved by Ami. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved by Ami and seconded by Margie. I'd like to thank Margie for doing the initial review of the August minutes. I want to encourage all of my colleagues that if any of you are available to do the initial review of the minutes, there is nothing in the bylaws that suggests it is a duty of the president of the board. It just happens to be something I do, but I would be happy to have help with that, and I appreciate that Margie helped with the one in August. All those in favor of Ami's motion, please raise your hand. Okay, it is unanimous. Okay. Our future meetings are, our meeting on November 17th. I want to remind everybody that is an in-person meeting. And we are going to start with an executive session at 2:30. And we will tell the public we expect to be done by approximately 3:15, but that is approximate, but we don't want the public to feel like they have to be there at 2:30, since we will have an executive session, an in-person executive session at 2:30. And we're going to wait on figuring out what our December meeting is going to be until we're a little closer to that and we see what's happening on a whole variety of fronts. But that November meeting is an in-person meeting starting at 2:30. Anything else for? I do need to get a motion for before we adjourn, for today's closed session for discussion of a future budget. Would someone like to make that motion? Alex.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Elections moved into closed session to discuss matters relating to future budget requests.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, moved by Alex and seconded by Ami. And Boris, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just would like to share with the board that Lisa sent an email with the link to the new Zoom session. You should have it in your inbox
Okay.
for the executive session.
Okay, excellent. All those in favor of the motion to go to executive session, please raise your hand. Okay, it is unanimous, and we'll see you in executive session. And thank you to our members of the public for attending today. The public portion of this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.